Hello lovely yoga students, and welcome to this video and welcome to 2023. Hopefully you all had a beautiful time over Christmas and New Year, and so we are now heading into a new term starting on Wednesday. Hopefully I'll see some of you there. If I don't see you and you are enjoying working with these videos that I'm sending out, and you would like to make a donation, then this time I will try to remember to put my bank details in the email. I forgot to last time, and I am still working on trying to get a PayPal button as well on my YouTube channel. So anyway, so this week the video that I'm sending you is the sort of first one of 12. So this is we've got two half terms, and over these weeks we're going to be working with wisdom and healing from the animal kingdom. So each week we'll be working with a different animal, and we'll be looking at the posture that goes with that, but also with the wisdom and healing that comes from that animal, that can help us just generally in our lives. But there'll be certain things that we'll be working with every week, and we're working towards a particular posture, which is a hand balance, which is actually very challenging. I can't do it. I'm hoping that by the end of the 12 weeks I might be able to, but so we're working in a very modified way towards this hand balance, and it's crow, which I'm sure that some of you know already, and maybe some of you can even do. So this first week we're actually working with the animal wren, which is one of our smallest British birds, but we're doing a very modified version of the crow to represent the wren. So we're going to start by coming and sitting down on the mat. Have a cushion or something to sit on if it makes you comfortable to do so. And we're going to begin by just coming into the moment, closing the eyes or lowering the gaze, and just spending a few moments breathing in and out through the nose, and just being with the breath, not changing it, just being with your beautiful natural breath moving in and out through the nose. Lovely. So we're going to take some arm movements to begin the practice. So we're going to just take one arm, it doesn't really matter which one, and you're going to make a circle diagonally going out sort of across the opposite corner of the body, and coming back down and following the arm with your hand. And we'll do that again, going in the same direction. So following your gaze, your gaze is following your hand, that's what I mean. And then when you come back and the hand comes back to the knee, we're just going to do it the same but backwards. So following the hand, coming all the way over diagonally across the body, back over that knee and then back again. So you're doing like a diagonal circle with the hand. And then bringing that one back, and we're just going to do the same thing with the other side. So diagonal circle all the way, following the palm with your gaze, coming all the way around and doing it again. And then when that hand comes back, we're going to go back the other way, doing that twice over as well. So really trying to stretch through the arm and the shoulder with these movements. Beautiful. Then coming back into your starting position, we're just going to take a few movements with the head. So just looking up to the sky and then dropping the chin to the chest. Bringing the gaze back to the front, and then we're just going to look to the left or right or whichever you're doing, coming back to the centre and looking the other way. And then from here we're going to drop the chin down so that we take a sort of half moon circle with the chin coming all the way down to the bottom, looking up the other side and then going back the other way. Beautiful. Bringing the gaze back to the centre, we're just going to take some shoulder rolls to just really wake up the shoulders and the upper chest and the upper back. Beautiful. And now I'm going to invite you to come and lie down on your mat. So come and lie down on your back with your hands down by the sides of the mat. I'm going to take a moment here just to be here. Feeling the back of the body on the floor, feeling the soles of the feet, the palms of the hands. Beautiful. Now I'm just going to invite you to lift the knees up into the chest. And then from here we're going to try and keep the knees where they are in this position and try and take the soles of the feet to shine towards the ceiling here. So trying to keep those there, and at the same time trying to keep your sit bones sunk down to the ground. I mean, obviously it is lifting up, but just, you know, we're working towards that. And also thinking about the shoulders being down on the ground. And from here I'm going to invite you to bring your hands and bring them in between your legs here. So your knees should still be quite bent, mine are a bit straight. You could even bring your hands to the back of your knees and just have a little bit of a rock around, pulling your knees down towards your armpits and trying to keep the soles of the feet pointing up. And then we're going to take the hands in between the feet. So this is like an upside down, very modified version of the crow. So we're just being here for a moment. It's working the tops of the legs, working the abdominals. So trying to just be here, thinking about the tailbone dropping, the shoulders dropping, and also keeping the knees coming forward like this. Beautiful. So it's quite hard work this, isn't it? So then from here we're just going to take hold of the backs of the legs again and just have a little rock from side to side. Beautiful. We're just going to drop the feet down, and we're going to roll up onto our feet. Now, so I didn't say at the beginning of the video. I will try to remember to say it in the email. You need to have a block or a cushion or both. I've got both here. So you're going to put the block on the floor. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a squat here. Now it might be that you've got much more flexible ankles than me. It's like I'm putting my feet on my heels onto this block and trying to come down into a squat, and actually my heels are lifting off here because my ankles aren't very flexible. So I'm actually adding a cushion on top of my block here. And I'm going to try it again from here. So with my heels on the block, coming down and see, now this is much better. So I can actually drop my weight back into my heels here, and I can sit up into, or kind of have my body upwards in this squat. So I've got my elbows inside my knees, hands together in front of the heart. So this is also like a modified version of the crow. So we can just be here for a couple of breaths and just feeling where you feel it. So I'm feeling it at the tops of my legs. I'm feeling it in my ankles as well. Beautiful. So from here we're going to come forward and move the blocks out of the way. We're going to come into all fours, and we're just going to do a little bit of cat and cow. So breathing in, looking forward, dropping the spine to the floor, and exhale, looking between the knees, taking the spine to the ceiling. Working with that a couple more times. in your own time. And then when you're ready, when it feels like the right time for you, we can begin to take opposite hand and knee into this hand balance. From here, try and just see if you can keep the back leg straight, but also see if you can, how far you can lift it. And then dropping the hand down, bringing nose to knee. If you want to continue the balance, you can take the hand up behind you. So you're continuing to balance. Then we're going to drop both down and we'll just do it on the other side. So again, just opposite hand and knee. See if you can keep that leg straight while you lift it behind you. And then either dropping the hand down or taking it up behind you. Doing a couple of these. Just really opening up the body and beginning to wake us up a bit. Lovely. So from here, taking the knees out a little bit, big toes together, we're going to drop back into the child pose if this is comfortable for you. If you can't do this, then you can do the crocodile or find another pose that works for you. And we're just going to see if we can just drop the head down either onto a block or down onto the earth, and take a couple of sighs out here. Lovely, just letting the breath go. And then from here, we're going to do something quite interesting. So we're going to start by rolling forwards onto the head into a rabbit pose. Doing that a couple of times. And then when we come back onto the top of this head, we're going to bring the knees in so that they're directly below the hips. And I'm going to invite you, if you can see what I'm doing, to take the hands in front of the head like this and interlace the fingers and bringing the elbows kind of underneath the shoulders so the head's sort of just touching the ground. And then from here, we're going to tuck the toes and then we're going to see if we can just lift the knees. So this is like, it's like a modified downward dog, or it could even be a modified handstand. Couple of breaths here. Again, it's quite intense. It's the abs, it's the legs, it's the shoulders. And then drop down, and we're going to drop the body down, take the hands out behind you. And just let yourself go. Wonderful. So from here, we're going to come into our toe squat, which is always a interesting thing for people to do. Okay, and then we're going to come forward and come into puppy pose. So take the hands out in front of you. And we're going to drop the head down to the ground. So we're really opening up the backs of the shoulder, the fronts of the shoulders rather, the armpits. And if having the head on the ground is actually stopping you go down, which it is for me, I'm actually lifting my head and just seeing if I can put my chin slightly on the ground. So this allows me to open my armpits a little bit more. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to come up into the dog, and we're just going to do a little bit of doing a bit of weight bearing on the wrists to warm our wrists up a bit. And we're going to take one leg up behind and then bring the nose to the knee. So we're coming forwards, and this is taking a bit of weight over the wrists to help us to warm our wrists up and get them ready for the modified hand balance we're going to do. So coming back to downward dog, coming down, having a rest if you need to, giving your wrists a little bit of a rub. Then making sure your fingers are nice and splayed here, sunray fingers coming back up to the dog, and we'll do it on the other side. So raising up the other foot and coming forward, nose to knee, over the hands. Last one. Lovely. Okay. So in the class itself, we're going to do some standing poses now, but we haven't got time to do that here. So we're going to go straight on from here into having a look at the crow. Now we're not going to try and actually do the hand balance at all, but we're just going to kind of start to get into the position and maybe take a little bit of weight onto the hands. But I really emphasise, don't do anything that doesn't feel okay for you. So I'm going to suggest that you bring either a block or a firm kind of cushion to stand on, so that you can do this little squat that we were doing earlier, but you're going to do it onto the cushion. So I'm actually up on my toes here, kind of leaning forwards a bit. So this is like a modified version of the pose with the hands in front of the heart here. We're sort of in the position, but without actually, with the balance, without the hand balance at the moment. We're kind of doing a foot balance instead. So from here, I'm going to take my hands to the ground. Okay, I've got a slightly, anyway. So sunray fingers, yeah, so my hands are really, really splayed. So I can have the weight going through the fingers as well as the palms. I've got, some people like to do crow with the knees on the backs of the arms like this. If that suits you, then you can do that. I don't like it personally. I feel like it's quite painful for me on the backs of my hands. But I think, you know, this is kind of officially what it looks like, but without the feet lifted. So you can just try that, see what that feels like. As I say, I like to do it with my legs slightly outside. So it's the same thing, but I'm coming forward like this and just taking a little bit of weight. So actually I've got most of the weight is in my feet still, but I'm just coming forward and taking some of the weight into my hands, looking forwards and then coming back down. So you can try that a couple more times. And I'm not even going to suggest at the moment that you take the weight off the feet. Just practice with that because it's quite intense on the wrists. So just see how that feels. And just play around with that for a bit. And as I say, if it feels too much for you, you can always just come back again to the squat that we were doing earlier. Just with your elbows inside the knees here, doing this squat. I mean, some people can do this squat where they can have their feet, both of their feet flat on the ground. My body doesn't work like that. So what I can do is to be up on one leg like this and have the other foot down, and I can sort of push my legs slightly apart with my hands to help me to open up in the groin here, and then I just come round and swap over. So I'm coming up onto the ball of this foot and taking the other foot down. So this is a way of me beginning to, you know, work into those places where, you know, other people have the flexibility in their ankles anyway. So this is a good way of just swapping between the two. Lovely. So we'll be doing a lot more of this in the class itself on Wednesday, and we'll be working with some standing postures and stuff as well. If you're coming to the lesson on Wednesday, then I'm looking forward to seeing you. If not, then hopefully you'll enjoy the video. we're just going to, and you can practice it, can't you, as many times as you want. So we're just going to come and lie down again on the back and just do a couple of counter poses. So just bringing the legs up into the chest, having a little bit of a rock around, and then we can take knees down to one side. I can't take my arm out, but arm out to the other side, looking over the other shoulder. Couple of breaths here. And then just coming up and doing it on the other side, looking over the opposite arm. Trying to relax here. And then just making any other movements you want to. Maybe coming into a nice happy baby. That's always fun. And then we can just drop down into Shavasana. So just take a few minutes here. It's really important. This is, some people say this is the most important pose of the whole of any practice. So it's really good to give yourselves a few minutes here lying in Shavasana before you come up. Beautiful. So thank you very much for your support, and looking forward to seeing some of you this week. And as I said, Happy New Year. Bye.